next thing is health insurance, and a lot of you seem to be confused by that. And of course, with a new president, we might be very confused as far as health insurance and employers. Typically with health insurance, let me use an example. The one thing you should remember, though, when you go into working for an employer is that health insurance can really go up. I had in 1 year when I was negotiating contracts a 27% increase in health insurance. Most of it was because of the fact that our RX or prescription cost so much more. So you want to be very careful when you're totaling out your costs for your employer that you leave some margin for the increase in health insurance. And about this time of year, they're going to start talking about and getting the employers ready for how much it's going to cost them in the following year for health insurance. So what you do is you take, let's say it's $1,500 a month per employee. Now that's cheap, but $1,500 a month per employee per month. And many of you, I noticed in the last class, you forgot to do times per month times 12, okay, times the number of employees, which I've given you the example of 50 employees. All right, so you get that total cost for health insurance. And then what you do is many times now is the employer, in fact, I can't think of an employer that's not doing this, with that premium, the employer is paying 80% of it and the employees are paying 20%. So when you get that total cost, and I've just gone through it, how you do it, then you split it 80-20, 70-30, but there's not going to be where the employer is paying that whole amount. That just doesn't happen anymore. And then finally, as far as something we talked about near the end of class, and I think it's very important for you to understand, used to be that all employers, especially employers who had unions, had defined benefits. And that meant that they knew when they retired after 30 years or whatever they required for them to work, that they were going to get so much per month, and that was guaranteed to life. And so let's say that they were going to get $3,000 per month for life. That's not happening anymore because of the GM situation where it was underfunded, and also the fiduciary duty or the responsibility on the company has become very difficult as the stock market, mutual funds, CDs have become very, very volatile. So what they decided to do was go into defined contribution, where they would give, in addition to salary, they would give them so much per month. And we look over here, and this is an example, so much per month, and they put it into something called a 401k. That means the employer is in no way responsible except for how much money they've promised the employer in addition to their salary. And this is called defined contribution, and that means the employer gives so much per month or annually to the employee in addition to their salary. Many times with a 401k, the Internal Revenue Service, I was going to say IRA, but IRS, determines how much the employer and the employee are allowed to give. So when I've told you defined benefit and I've talked about the employer, you should think to yourself, oh, with a 401k, the employees are also allowed to give so much money. And many times this is tax deferred, which means they aren't taxed on it until such time as they take it out. And many times that's at age 90. And with people, they're living longer, this is being a problem for people who are age 90 and are thinking, oh, I'm going to be taxed on taking this money out. I hope this has been of help. We'll talk about it again in class. Thank you.